For 25 years, I've filmed people on cameras like this.
Now it's your turn.
You film yourself for the first time, you play it back. Something feels wrong, and you flinch. Who is that? I don't look like that. I don't sound like that too, do I? It's really tricky because that person is you. It's the version everyone else sees every single day, and you're the only one in the world who finds them a stranger. In this video, I'll show you the 3 reasons your brain rejects you on camera and how you can fix it. You don't have to have a camera this big. Now let's start with your face. Every mirror you've ever looked into shows you a flipped version of yourself. Every morning, every night, brushing your teeth, that flipped face gets etched into your memory. That's the face you think is yours. You point a camera at yourself and the camera doesn't flip you. It shows you the right way round, the way everyone else sees you. And suddenly you don't recognize the person who's looking back at you. There's an idea I really like called Maya. I watched a great video on it about 10 years ago. It basically stands for most advanced yet acceptable. It kind of means that we're drawn to what feels familiar, and nothing is more familiar than the face you've stared at for your whole life. So when you see that face and it's turned the wrong way round, your brain goes, nope, that's not right. I've filmed hundreds of people for corporate videos and for television and watched them kind of wince. I don't look like that, do I? That one layer, seeing yourself unmirrored, is enough to throw you completely. And we are such harsh critics of ourselves. I'd play a video back and all I could see was the grey hair on the back of my head. Where did that ever come from? Every one of those little criticisms takes something away. You think you're judging your face, but actually what you end up doing is robbing your delivery of about 10%. And that 10% might be the bit that made your video really land.
Now, onto your voice. Same problem, different reason. When you speak, you're hearing yourself 2 separate ways. Once through the air, like everyone else, and once through the bones in your own skull. That second one adds a richness and a depth. Your voice sounds bigger to you than it does to anyone else in the room. So you record it, you play it back, and it sounds a bit thin, higher, not like you. The timbre is different. The EQ is different because you've lost the one thing that you always had, your own head. I felt for years that my voice wasn't really strong enough. And then I started putting out content and people would comment and say I sounded a bit like David Attenborough. That's not what I hear. Some say I sound like the Top Gear lot, but I don't hear that either. The thing people tell me is one of my best qualities is the one thing I couldn't really see in myself. And everyone I've ever filmed says the same line. Oh God, I don't sound like that, do I? Well, you do. You just have to get used to it. Sorry, but more than that, you have to start enjoying it. Mine got better the day my message got clearer too. When I was giving generic advice, I was worried about how I sounded. The more I actually knew, the more I could relax. Put a bit of melody in that voice too. Leave a bit of space and actually play with my voice. So do a voiceover for fun. Mess about with a microphone at your desk. The more you play, the more of your own voice you let yourself use. There's a third reason, and it only shows up the moment you know you're being watched. Some people call it red light fever. I remember Ollie Knights, a singer-songwriter, saying that he loved the sound of this old tape machine, but as soon as he saw those reels turning, it meant that he needed to perform. But that's when he heaped the most amount of pressure on himself, and he couldn't. The second that record light comes on, I've watched warm, funny, articulate people fall apart too. They start a sentence and halfway through, another voice in their head goes, Can you say that? And they stop. They become about 5 people all at once, all talking to each other. I filmed a man once who made timber windows. Before we rolled, I sat with him and he was magic. So passionate. Why timber lasts 50 years. Why it's more sustainable. Everything he was doing in his factory. I'd bought the lot. Then the light went on and he was a different man. He'd slipped into this marketing mode that shouldn't exist, stopping himself every other sentence. Can I say that? Should I say that? People will slag me off if I said this. The real person, the one I'd just been talking to, was gone. So why does it happen? For me, I was thinking a video was permanent, that it counted, that 1 million people might watch it and 1 million people might tear me apart. That's a lot of pressure to put on one sentence. But a video isn't a monument, it's chewing gum for the eyes. Here and then gone. The people who go viral and get torn to shreds are nearly always because they did something wrong. If you're a decent person putting out something useful, that simply isn't going to happen. So you can turn that inner critic off. You're not here for you anyway. You're here for the person watching. Just a quick one. Me and Christy have a newsletter that goes out every Sunday with actionable tips that you can take away into your video creation too. So subscribe. The details are in the description. That inner critic, by the way, is loudest at the start because everything's unfamiliar at once. Will this even work? I don't know how I look. I don't like the way I sound. Why am I holding my hands like this? Yeah. You've handed yourself 4 or 5 things to panic about before you've even said a word. And you can't like yourself on camera while all that's running in the background. It's impossible. It's if 4 voices were picking at you, where's your brain power left to actually make the words any good? My partner Christy, when she started making her Instagram videos, would do 10, 15 takes of a single sentence. 1 line. Now, watch me make a video. I do single takes. Yep, that'll do. Move on. I'm not suddenly more talented. I've finally got space in my head and I can think about the meaning of things, how I want them to land. I say it and I go, yep, that's fine. That's what the best TV presenters do too. If you watch them closely, yeah, that's fine. I'll take it. The whole skill is knowing where your that'll do line is and letting yourself fail a little bit along the way. Not one of your videos is going to be perfect. They don't need to be, right? Now, every reason we've talked about so far has the same cure: time, reps, and familiarity. You don't recognize yourself yet because you haven't seen enough of yourself yet. A camera stops being a camera around video 10. By a video 100, you barely notice it's there. I mean, you wouldn't sit at a piano for the very first time and expect to play in front of a massive crowd. You'd practice. There's no difference here, except people put themselves out there ridiculously early and then panic that they're not virtuosic on day 1. So put the reps in where it's safe. Your Zoom calls are practice. Work on getting your message across to a colleague, holding the room, putting a bit of melody in your voice. Every one of those muscles is the same muscle that you'll use on camera. And when you watch your videos back, and just know you'll be your own harshest critic. Don't come away with a list of 100 things that you want to change. Come away with 1. Maybe it's filler words for a start. Maybe it's letting a pause sit. Maybe it's a hand gesture you want to lose. 1 thing at a time. That's how to smooth off those rough edges that you don't like. And honestly, the edges you don't like, nobody else even notices. We've all seen interviews with Hollywood legends too, like real legends, who say they'll never watch themselves back. It happens to everyone. Some people are just able to put it behind them. That brings me to the thing that changed everything for me. The reason you don't like yourself on camera is that you're watching yourself. You're the subject. So the second you stop being the subject, that whole feeling lifts. When you make a video about the other person, you stop performing. You're turning up to help, and in that moment you become the least important thing in the frame. The person watching matters. The change you want to make for them matters most. You? Well, you're just the one holding the door open. I stumbled onto this about a year in. I made a video that started with 2 words. Try this. Not do this, just here's a thing, you might find it useful, give it a go. That video took off, and I realised the confidence hadn't come from me getting braver. It had come from me standing next to people instead of standing in front of them. So, if you take one thing from this, take this. Before your next video, picture one friend, one person you actually want to help. You can't force them to do anything. You can only offer. Here's something I found useful. You might find it useful too. No pressure. Feel how different that is from, let me present you this amazing thing. 2 completely different energies. People aren't sitting there studying your face. They're hoping you've got something that helps them. Give them that, and you disappear in the best way possible. So here's where I'll leave you. You don't dislike yourself. You've just met a version of yourself you were never properly introduced to. The unmirrored face, the thin-sounding voice, the person who shows up under the red light. They're all you. They just need a proper introduction. Make friends with the TV version of yourself. That's exactly where the people we all love to watch live. Your Attenboroughs, your Kevin MacLeods, your Sarah Coxes. They're not doing anything clever. They're just comfortable being themselves on camera. You can get there too. It just takes reps and a bit of kindness. Maybe one day I'll get there myself, but creating 1,000 pieces of short form content has really helped me. And that would help you too. So watch one of your videos back today, and instead of picking it apart, give yourself a little bit of credit for being brave enough to do it at all. Show yourself some love. It gets easier, I promise. Now, knowing why you feel like this is one thing, walking up to the camera and doing it anyway is another. Well, that's the next video. I'll show you exactly how to be confident on camera, even when every part of you wants to run away and hide. Go and watch that one next. And if this has helped, subscribe and just be here tomorrow.